All right, are we rolling?
Yep.
Well, it was interesting. I was invited to Haiti several years ago. I'm guessing it was around 2007 for the first time. And I kind of fought going because I knew a lot of people were going to Haiti, and I like to take my teams to places where most people won't go. And so I went as a spectator. And what I saw when I got there, I realized that we could send plane load after plane load after plane load of missionaries, short-term missionaries to Haiti, and still only make a small dent in the need that's there. When I was there, we were helping a lady, her name is Shire, who was starting a school for some of the very poor children that never got to go to school. And then she said, Don, there's a pastor working up in the ravine, very poor area, and they really need help. And he needs help. And I think if you could go up there and play your trumpet at his church, they meet on a rooftop.
My name is Pastor Senor Linnaeus, pastor of Rooftop Baptist Church.
And so I went there, I played my trumpet, and I saw this Pastor Senor, who had just a tremendous ministry to those in the ravine. He had felt called there by God, because no one else was really ministering in that part of the ravine.
This is where the church started. You know, I was an evangelist pastor, and then my ministry is just walk areas to areas, doors to doors, to preaching the gospel.
And so he went in, started going door to door, witnessing, sharing the love of Christ, and eventually he had a core of people that wanted to start a church, and so that's this Rooftop Baptist Church, how it got started. And one of the issues they were trying to deal with was they didn't have a roof over the roof that they were meeting on. It was just a big cement slab. We decided to take a team down and help him put a roof over the rooftop, just like a tin canopy over that rooftop. It was about 2 months after we put that roof on when the earthquake happened.
Just joining us, we're following the breaking news out of Haiti. The largest, most powerful earthquake in the region's history has crippled the country, measuring 7.0. Its epicenter was just a few miles outside the capital, Port-au-Prince. There are reports of toppled buildings there. We've seen pictures of some dead bodies in the streets. There are reports of trapped victims screaming for help. One aid worker told the AP he fears them.
I immediately thought, what happened to Pastor Senor? I heard Sherry was okay, but no one had seen Pastor Senor. And so I thought, well, you know, the more I saw on TV, the more I thought, if he was at that church and no one has heard from him, he must be buried in that rubble somewhere. So Pastor Senor called and he says, Don Shire, this is Pastor Senor. I'm alive. And so it was good to hear his voice, and I asked him to explain to me what happened, and he said he was at the church.
And then I feel a shaking. The house started to shake with me. For me, I think it is the God day will arrive.
All of a sudden, everything started shaking. They were going to have a Bible study that day. And everything started shaking, and all the homes around them were crumbling.
And we are crying everywhere, and when I see that it's stopping, I just cry to other people, you who is not died, come to help save the others. And then when I cry like this, everyone have their own problem. No one can come to help anyone, because everyone are in the same situation.
Senor said that it was just absolutely terrible as they would go house to house. There were people that were pinned in the rubble that were never going to come out, and yet they were still alive, but they were dying. And he would just say, if you have breath, use it to cry out to God, and ask him to have mercy on your soul. And as people were dying, they were crying out and asking for God's mercy upon them. And he said then they would go out with kerosene, and they would burn the bodies because the smell was becoming so bad from the bodies rotting. And he said children were crawling out of the rubble. And because he was a pastor, everyone was bringing the children they were finding to him. They didn't have a place for them. And he said, Don, my house was cracked. He said, I really can't bring them with me. And I said, well, you know, what can we do? And he said, well, Don, he said, my whole church is homeless. Can you help us? And so my intention was not to start an orphanage. My intention was to help feed them. And after about a month of sending money down for the church, I said, Senor, we need to concentrate on the children. The older adults, they've been helped long enough now, they need to get out and try to figure out how to survive. But the children, they don't have a choice. And so, you know, we want to help them. And at that time, I already had orphanages in India. I was already involved in an orphanage in Roatan, Honduras. And I didn't have a lot of extra cash. And I said, well, Pastor Senor, I will let people know that there's a need, and if God provides, I'll send it to you. And it was very interesting. Immediately, there were some churches that had taken up a collection and were trying to figure out how to get that money to Haiti to help people. And so we did find a place that was acceptable to rent. And that's where we've been for over 3 years. And actually, it's more like 4 years. And it's been adequate when the children were smaller, but there's not a whole lot of room to play.
Right now we have 24 children in it, but we do not have enough rooms here.
And as you know, members of your church have been there, you've seen it, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. As they get older, we have older boys and older girls all living underneath the same small roof in that house, and not enough room to be able to get out and stretch. And so that, combined with the fact that our lease is paid for 1 more year, and after that the owner of the property has indicated that he would like to move back. I don't want to be in a position where all of a sudden I have to make a fast move. And so we've been looking at property. And we did find a piece of property that's, they started around $250,000. And in Haiti, you think, how could anything cost that much? But what's happened is that after the earthquake, all of the foreigners that have been going to Haiti to help have been looking for property, and so the prices have gone way up. And so this property started at $250,000, and it's now down to $180,000. But the problem is that there's no financing, and so that's why we've established a fund where we can see how God provides, and when that $180,000 is there, we'll buy the property. But then after that, there's a house on it right now that's about the same size of the house that we're presently in, but the property is big enough that we can build another house and still have a nice room for an athletic field. And so we feel good about this property. We're not positive it's the one we're going to get, but as long as it's still available, that's the one we're working towards. So that's kind of how it all started and where we are today. It did not start with my intentions to start an orphanage, but sometimes when God wants you to do something, He just makes it happen.